My question is related to the representation of women in the people of Israel in ancient times. I will read my question. It is said that in ancient times, the people of Israel followed certain behaviors and customs regarding women, where they were excluded, and their value was minimal. They were dedicated only to the home and their children, and could not go out as men did. However, we also see in the Bible, in 2 Kings 22, the example of the prophetess Huldah, who was consulted by King Josiah. We also see the case of Miriam, Moses' sister, who in Exodus 15 prophesied through her song. Likewise, there is Deborah, who was a judge and prophetess of the Lord, as indicated in Judges 4. She led Barak's army to victory. My question is the following. If women in ancient Israel were set aside, how was it that the people of Israel accepted the spiritual and material work that God entrusted to them, despite them having no voice or vote?
Very well. Who is saying or who said that in the Old Testament women were rejected? No. Rather, from everything we have read in the Bible, we do not see so much the work of women in the Old Testament. But we do see the work of the prophetesses, right? Because it says that the prophetess Deborah was a judge for 40 years. Well, that's wonderful. God put her as a prophetess. Huldah was also a prophetess. In addition, the women Rachel and Leah had their roles. God also put them as representatives of the people, of the church. We, as Bible readers, make comments and say, oh, but in the Old Testament, women are hardly seen. Yes, because at that time the culture dictated that the man had to take responsibility for the house. At that time, the man fulfilled his duties to provide sustenance, and in turn, the woman dedicated herself to raising children. I believe that these prophetesses were people with good ideas and ways of thinking. They were surely widows or never married, because remember, in antiquity, there were vows. There were women who made a vow to God and said, I will never marry so that I can dedicate myself to God, to seek God. Men also made vows. So when these women dedicated themselves to God, surely God gave them a job and God rewarded them and gave them blessings. We must also bear in mind that the Bible is a review of what God wanted to teach us and show us human beings what we should do. He highlights the most important things here. What if God had allowed absolutely everything to be written? As the apostle said, the books would not fit in the world. So there are many other stories that we do not find in the Bible. God wanted to highlight the most important things of some people for us, and the rest he did not allow. But brothers and sisters, today with our God, how many testimonies are there in the gospel? In this time that we have been with the Lord, how many thousands of testimonies are there about the miracles and works that God has done in the church in general? How many things have happened? How much do people talk about the manifestation of God? It is impossible to compile everything and write it so that it is within everyone's reach. It is too much work, too much material, too much to read. No, it cannot be done. We say, God performs miracles and signs. God performs thousands of miracles and signs.